Uncut Live with Kenneth Clark. Y'all plug your seats in. We about to go all the way in as we are on the front lines of liberty, justice, black power for the people. Yours truly. Here we are again on another episode edition of Uncut Live with Kenneth Clark, where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith, politics, social issues, community, you name it. There is nothing that is off limits. As I always say, we will not be paused, edited, or muted. What you see, hear, the cards lay on the table. Why? Because we keep it 100 or 1,000. And so, as many of you all may know, this week, more like the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have been concentrating on black justice. What does that look like? And so, on today's show, we have a special guest who is a community consultant. And without further ado, I'm going to let this soldier introduce who he is.
Moebetter, regular guy. What up? This is always a funny thing. People ask me to write bios and do things like that, and I'm just like, I'm always writing it 15 minutes beforehand because it's never the same. I fundraise for Safe Shores. They take care of sexually and physically abused children. I got a campaign called Santa Claus. This is year 10 I'm currently in. I fundraise about 4 or 5 months every year, raise $15,000 to $20,000. Other than that, man, I do whatever. You know what? I'm Tupac. I care. Tupac cared, I care. That's it. So whether we're fundraising for Martha's Table or doing a Covenant House sleep out or just supporting black businesses or protesting, whatever it is, I'm with it. I'm with it. That's me. Moebetter. I'm with it. And then I used to battle rap, so I'm with it.
I'll catch that one. Well, I'm glad to have you on the set. Glad you was able to take some moments out of your time, out of your busy schedule, because I know an influencer like yourself is, in a high commodity for a time such as
I sit in the house and watch Walmart $5 bit movies all day long. That's it. I put pieces together on social media, and I'm not even required to be out of the house anymore. And with these times, kind of had to adjust.
So, a few minutes ago, prior to about 2 days ago, we had an electoral candidate for gorgeous Prince George's County, Maryland, Gladys.
Gorgeous Prince George's. I never heard that. That's funny. Okay.
I know, right?
I live here, but that's funny.
Ain't that funny?
That's funny. Go ahead.
I was really moved in a way by her because I saw her on an interview. She was talking about how that she wants what she plans to bring to the courtroom is the interpersonal communication of humanism, basically meaning that, not just referring, oh, this is my client, but hey, saying the person's name.
Okay.
Not looking down or talking through a TV screen or, that type of ordeal. So she wants to bring that, to the table. And I'm a person that really operates on the principles concept of humanism, basically treating people as human beings as they should be, because sometimes
because they are.
They are.
Right, okay.
So I asked the question, what does black justice look like? And she said...
You got the answer to that? Oh, okay. I'm listening.
She said...
I want to learn something.
The same way white justice is. So...
That's what she said. There's a judge, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I
As she's bringing something to, this is what she, wants to bring to the court.
Okay.
So, but for you, may have a different interpretation, and Uncut Live is always open to diverse.
Black justice does not exist. Now, what should black justice mean? Yeah, it should be equal and equivalent because there should be one race, which is human. That's what it should be. But as black justice right now, I mean, I laugh because that's a joke. It's an oxymoron. Like, I don't. It's not a thing. But I mean, I guess you're asking, what? All right. So, what does it look like? What if it were to be a thing?
Yeah, if it were to be.
Man, the Constitution would have to be rewritten. It hasn't been changed from the unjustness that it was to begin with. I mean, again, I rap, so I follow people like Mike Son because he's in the rap, but then the struggle and the fight is as well. And there's a freestyle where he says, "Y'all, you don't understand. We was 3/5 of a man." Like he said, was though. We still are three. Like the Constitution, it was written for us to be 3/5 man, and that's called the 3/5 compromise. Like they was giving us 3/5. They didn't want to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just like, it was written wrong from the founding fathers. The foundation of it is wrong. You can't build a house on a shaky foundation. So I'm not sure it could be fixed without going back to rewrite history, which I don't foresee happening in our lifetime.
So in this, I guess you say this pathway or this journey, as we're dealing with what we have here in this United States, and you see a lot of the different things that's happening with the prison system. You see a lot of different things that's happening with the way the dehumanization that continues to happen against our black women and our black men.
The thing about the justice system, which is a funny title, but the prison sentences, they're real disproportionate. You know what I'm saying? Like from Freeway Ricky Ross and the Iran Contra scandal. Like we're gonna make so the white folks over here do cocaine. You guys are doing crack. So if you're selling crack, we're gonna give you 30 years. These people that are doing it, this slap on the wrist, it's because we know where it's at. All right, this black community is doing this. Boom, the sentence for that is going to be harder. For example, like with Meek Mill, I know he was on probation and every little thing, gives you your backup time and all that, but for riding a dirt bike, it's crazy because I actually had stopped the Santa Claus campaign at one point, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that made me bring it back, I had saw with Wale had shared that a white man had 3 months of house arrest for raping a 5-year-old girl. And Meek Mill had got 2 years for riding a dirt bike. That's where the the question you asked, that's where it makes me laugh. And that's why I started the campaign back, because I'm like, all right, well, if you're giving people slaps on the wrist for things, like Mike Vick in his dog case got more time than Harvey Weinstein. I mean, granted, he killed himself, but I'm just like, the president can give these people passes. Kim Kardashian gets someone to come home, a black person, and all of a sudden, these people are for us. When you have one person out of 5 million you brought home, when 3 million of them should have never been in jail. Or the Khalif Browder situation where he was accused of stealing a book bag, and because we can't pay the bail, we stay in jail. There's no equality in the justice system. And what was the other thing you mentioned after the justice system? I can't even remember. Like I was so busy laughing inside on that part.
No, I feel you. I laughed too. I was sharing with the Madam Judge an experience of how I mentor young men in the area. And I was sharing with her how I seen this young man who he was short 75 cents at the 7-Eleven for his Slurpee. Mm-hmm. But when you looked at the situation, you probably would have thought this man did the most crazy
heinous
crime that there is, and it's like it's 75 cents.
You're gonna have to pardon me. I'm gonna use my vocabulary words here today because I can't do it when I rap. So,
it's crazy.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you saying 75 cents. My wife just got off the phone ordering a new bank card because someone an hour ago used her bank card for 65 cents in North Carolina, and it could have been someone that's hungry and wanted a honey, but it's just something to give you sustenance. You know what I'm saying? So that's funny to me. But poverty has to change in order for justice to happen. If people don't have jobs, they can't work.
Boom, 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 boom. There you go.
Survival instincts kicked in. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's the same thing with violence. Everything. Like crime comes from not having its instinct. I personally wouldn't rob or steal because, I've lost money or I've had my house broken into. So I know what it's like to have something taken from a person when they've worked hard for this. So I couldn't imagine robbing you and the money you had in your pocket was for your rent and you were on your way to get a money order. Like I couldn't, like stealing just isn't in me, but I may have done something prior to having a wife and a kid. I may have sold drugs. I would have done whatever. You put yourself in a mind state where they gonna smoke it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, and can still have a conscience and don't feel comfortable about doing it. But it's like, okay, I gotta eat, or I gotta keep a roof over my head. So the good-heartedness of you may get pushed aside.
There's a term that it just irritates me a little bit. I see a lot of politicians. I see a lot of Christians.
I hate that word, but go ahead.
I see a lot of Christians, and
I am that, but go ahead.
That when they get to a certain level,
mm-hmm.
and like whatever their accomplishment is, whether it's they open a church or whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
they made it a public office or whatever, and I often hear them say, "Well, I pulled my bootstraps up,
mm-hmm.
and so." Because I pull my bootstraps up, they should be able to pull their own bootstraps up.
I want to be rich just to show people how you could accomplish something and not change. There's things that I had glad that they didn't go the way for whatever reason because I like being amongst the people. Like I'd hate to have a $250,000 a year job and live in Potomac, Maryland, and forget about the people I grew up around. Like I'd hate that. I messed up in high school where I could have, like, I always had good grades, but my behavior was bad. I could have ended up at MIT and went that route, but I'm glad I didn't. Like, to be amongst the people, to live right there, to physically see the need and to be able to have that reach, it means a lot. I've seen programs and people that have money and resources, but then they have to go find that person in the hood to get it to the people, like because they're so out of touch. But then I've seen the people that have the reach that don't have the money and the resources. It's like the whole system, man, is everything about it is very flawed. So it's like sometimes I tell myself like I have to live in my bubble. Like I'm not even. It's crazy because being a Christian, like there's a quote in the Bible. It's like, be in the world but not of it. Like I'm really not of it. I'm here. I coexist. I work my job. I earn my money to pay the bills that I have to pay, and to earn. You go to school to earn the paper that says that this person is qualified for this job, and that's always been a funny thing because I work with people that have endless degrees and do not understand how to do their job, but they were given the job because of the degree, and then it's like we have to adjust what we have them do because, hey, we gave them the job. So now they're technically not even doing the job they were hired for. Whereas I'd rather take a person off the street that just seems like they got common sense because at the end of the day, I have to show you the job. The one thing I've always said about a diploma, the only thing it shows me is that you took the initiative to, to show that you're willing to learn to do whatever. It doesn't say that you know it. Like, everything about the system is flawed. Like I don't go around trying to change the system. I try to help people within it, but very much flawed.
Yeah, I have a mentor. He always says that sometimes we have more educated fools than those with common sense.
That's funny. I felt that way about a prominent scholar. I actually pissed him off one day. Cornel West. I went to he had a speaking engagement once, and I had read his book, Race Matters. And in the book, early on in the book, he was saying how black students need these great black mind, black professors, and all. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling you. We on course with that. But later in the book, I found out that he taught at an Ivy League school. And I'm like, if you're trying to reach these black kids, why are you at Princeton, Yale, Harvard, whichever one it is? Then I thought, I'm like, okay, well, maybe you wanted to reach the few black kids that are at the school. But I'm like, no, it's money. Because if you wanted to reach, the most important thing was to reach these young black kids, then you should be at a historically black college. So, you know, I see things like that. And I asked the question once, you know what I'm saying? I had the access to ask that question, and, you know, shut up, sit down. Like, who are you to ask me this? And at the age that I was, like, why would you? I'm like, you know, 14, 15 years old, I took the time to read your book. Let's talk about it. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. I asked the question to be educated. But, you know, to me, that's that educated fool thing.
Yeah, that's that.
You can learn a lot from a dummy. There's a guy outside the liquor store right now that could teach me something. If not, what not to do, that's still a lesson.
Yeah.
How to not end up the way I am.
And then I think the scripture, y'all don't hold it to my head. Hold it in my head, not my heart. But it's a scripture that says that, I think it's somewhere in Proverbs where it says that God would use the fool to confine the wise, or something along those terms. You know, I always say that there is something, everybody has something to offer to the play. I don't care who or what it is.
You experience life. There's something you did that someone else hasn't gone through yet. So you learn it from someone else's experience. I don't want to say mistakes. You learn from the experience. My mother always told me that, like, it's a hard thing to get a child to grasp, but it's like, all right, I went through this. Like Jay-Z said, like, Hov did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did this already. Let me tell you why not to try to touch the iron. Like, it's going to burn you. Like, why do you have to find out for yourself? You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that's how we are, though. We learn from doing.
So, there's a lot that's going on, as you rightfully know. It's like everything. But to the young black men and to the young black women, what would you have to offer for them, like to like encourage them?
Let me see. I think of all the things that the guy that dressed up in the suit came and said to me at school. You know, you can be the president, you can do anything you want. All right, now that I got that foolishness out of my head, right? Because like I go and talk to kids at schools a lot, and the thing is, I always try to, I guess, and for lack of a better term, meet them where they are, right? Like, I'll go in there, I'll have on sweatpants, I have on the Jordans, I'll show them pictures of me and a rapper, so I had their attention. I ask them, what do they listen to, and what do they watch on TV? Because whatever it is, I'm gonna make my point from that. So I remember a girl once saying that she watched 16 and Pregnant. And I personally hate the show. And I wanted to tell her that, you know, that's not reality for you. That white girl's mother, who helped her raise her kid and was excited and all, it's not how it's going to work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because your mother is working overnight, which is why you even had the opportunity to get pregnant. So she's not even home to help you. Now you're going to have to drop out of school, and you know what I'm saying? Or you're chasing behind the boy who, let's say he's in high school and he's hustling. He got a little bit of money. He's buying Jordans with that. He's not thinking about taking you out or raising a baby. He's going to disappear. He doesn't know how to be a father because, well, his father's not around. His father's locked up. So I tell people, like, you got to grab from the social media, the TV, the music. You got to grab from those people their life lessons. When you hear that struggle and thrive not to experience that, and find the good things on TV. Like, growing up for me, the shows that we had to watch impacted my life greatly. Like watching A Different World, I wanted to go to a historically black college. I wanted to be Dwayne Wayne. Or watching Family Matters, I wanted to have both parents in the household. The Cosby Show, both parents in the household, a lawyer and a doctor. The Fresh Prince, like Will had to go live with his family. His father wasn't there. I seen the pain. That episode came on yesterday, right? When Will's father wasn't there, and it was like, why he don't want me? Today, it still makes me cry. It gets emotional. But if I could feel his pain of his father not being there from TV, there's no way in hell I'm going to let someone else experience that from me, ever. Like, ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, my father got locked up at a point where he wasn't home. He didn't leave. He wasn't not there, but he was taken away. So even though I knew what it was like to have both parents in the home, I also knew what it was like to live with a single mom. Because at the time, you know, they get divorced, he's gone. So when you experience both sides of the spectrum, I feel like you learn how not to treat people, or you treat them how you want to be treated. Like that really comes into play. So there's been times where I've had no money to get a meal, or I've had $7 to last me the week, and I had a McChicken every day and a sweet tea. So I know what it's like to be hungry. So I see someone that asks for money because they're hungry. That's why I give it to them. Or I know someone that died from AIDS or died from cancer, or someone's child who has autism. So that's why I donate to those causes or want to go do that walk. I've experienced every bit of life. I've never been homeless, but I lived in a house that had no heat one winter. It was colder in the house. Mm-hmm. So that's why. So what I tell kids is to watch other people and learn from their experiences, so like you really don't have to go through that. Or think about what you would want, or how it hurt when that girl broke up with you. So don't be in a rush to get in a relationship and then jump right out of it, because that hurt that you experience is what you're about to project on someone else. So I always tell people just to think about how something would make you feel. I know it's hard to get kids to think in advance, or adults for that matter, but you really have to think about how that same scenario can make you feel, and it makes you not do it. Like, I had nieces. I have a stepson now, but before he was around, I had nieces. I get sick to my stomach when I see older men look at girls, and they could be 20, 21, but you're 45. Like, that bothers me. I have nieces that are in college. You know what I'm saying? So I have nephews. My stepson has heard me curse 5 times in 6 years. I'm mad about all 5 times. To someone else, that's great. But I'm like, my vocabulary changes. The pastor might as well be around, because even though I rap, I don't even want you to listen to rap, because I'm like, you're listening. I don't recognize your level of comprehension. Whereas when I was 14, 15, I was listening to Eminem, who was saying all kinds of stuff I needed not to hear, but I appreciated the rhyme scheme. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't about to go out and do drugs or try to kill my baby's mother. I appreciated a whole nother aspect of the talent, but I'm like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I know he's going to hear what he's going to hear. So I have to tell him, like, you know, this is entertainment, and you have to take some things with a grain of salt. For example, with the kids, I asked them, the boys once, who they listen to in music. And they named at the time a bunch of Chicago rappers. And I said, do y'all believe them? And they say, no, we know the rappers be lying. I said, that's the problem. With them, I believe them. You know, they're talking about murdering and this, and they have the highest murder rate in the country. Believe them. Now, the thing is, while you're rapping these lyrics and you're trying to imitate them, are you prepared to go to jail? I see you chasing a girl. Are you prepared to not be around the girls? You like to wear this fancy stuff and the name brand clothes. Are you prepared to wear the same thing every day? Then the light goes off in their head. You know what I'm saying? You can think you're tough, but you're not thinking about every aspect of it. I remember once asking a guy, he had a young boy, had his pants, you know, hanging down and all that. And I said, what you going to do if you have to run? I ain't no punk. I'm going to stand and fight. I ain't running. I said, see, that's where y'all mind is trained to go. What if you got to catch the bus? What if you got to run from the police? Like, what are you going to do if you... I ain't even think about that. I know. So what I do with kids, I just try to get them to open their mind and think. There's one thing I want to tell you. I use rap to get their attention, right? So I took some kids because, you know, I knew they grew up in the hood and knew about drugs and things. Well, I was in the class I was speaking in was a history class, I believe. So I wanted to mix in the block with the subject matter. So I said, where I'm from, kids roll blunts on buses. Couldn't locate Germany on a map, but know all about white boys and Dutches. I made them explain it to each other. So I try to use rap to get to the kids.
Wow, that was dope right there. That was dope. Wow.
The wife always got to see what she's talking about. Okay, go ahead.
So, we're gonna do wrap something. We're gonna wrap something up. What? So for my viewers and people who are watching this live and who will rewatch this live, how can they get behind you or help support any of the causes? How can they? What are some things they can do?
SantaCausesDMV.org. That's the website to donate to help the sexually abused children. I also have a program. It's on hold right now because I don't like to run two things at once. It's just asking a much of people. But on Instagram, there's a page called Help DMV. And what I do with that is I help pay past due bills for people. So we fundraise and collect. I ask people for $3 to $5. You know what I'm saying? Very slight. But when 100 people kick in and you got $500, you can turn somebody's lights on or make sure somebody has groceries. You know what I'm saying? So I have people just submit the bill and I pay it that way. But my social media is Better, BETTA_MO. And yeah, that's where I'm at. My Facebook is none of their business. You know, it's my mother, my cousins, family, you know. No, I'm just joking. But my last name is like wild hard to spell. But yeah.
So there you have it, folks. You know, this is what Uncut Live is continually to bring you people who are in the trenches, who are involved, who are engaged, who are not just sitting behind a screen saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, but actually is involved and engaged in the work for greater development. All right, y'all. Y'all continue to follow me on all social media platforms such as Facebook, Kenneth Clark, IG name, Change Agent Now Forever. As I always say, y'all, each one reach one, each one help one, each one love one, each one encourage one. We are all we got. We are all we need. You just got plugged in with Uncut Live with Kenneth Clark. Peace.